Sound hard, but it isn't as hard as you think. It's perfectly possible to be good at more than one thing in your life, or to be good at multiple things simultaneously. In fact, I would argue it's easier than people think, because expertise in one domain may help fuel excellence in another. That's what I have found in my own life. I am a designer who is also an entrepreneur. I started writing initially as a way of documenting whatever I am reading, until I absolutely fell in love with the process. I am also a hobby coder and take great interest in reading history. I have always been fascinated with learning and human creativity. Therefore, education is one of my area of passion. These areas of interest kindle many business ideas, some of which I end up pursuing. You might think these areas compete for my attention or distract me from fully achieving mastery in one of them. I would be lying if I said it's not difficult to manage them all. However, I compensate for that difficulty with the additional gains and breakthrough I receive by having access to different models of thinking, different fields of study, and different types of experiences. As Nobel laureate Santiago Ramon Y. Cagel, the father of modern neuroscience, put it, to him who observes them from afar, it appears as though they are scattering and dissipating their energies, while in reality they are channeling and strengthening them. Having varied knowledge in multiple fields helps you create an atypical combination of two or more skills into a world-class skill set. Being a generalist gives you the opportunity to carve yourself out a nice niche that only you can have. Scott Adams, the guy behind Dilbert, believed he could draw, but he was no artist. Similarly, he was funny, but not as funny as a comedian. He also happened to have a business background, but when he combined all three, art, humor, and business, he suddenly had something very unique and rare. The best way to get started becoming a polymath is to start running little personal experiments. Some new experience in a new field can give you a keyhole view into a new curiosity. Then you can seek to learn more about it if it piques your interest. This would also be the best time for you to talk to people in the field or find ways to learn more about it, all the while reflecting on each personal experiment to determine whether this new field is a better fit for your interests and abilities. Once in a while, you will find something that you love so much that you would want to take it up seriously, perhaps as a profession or a business. I've personally known people who have changed careers by transitioning into newer domains, sometimes multiple times in a row, in search of more fulfilling life. A very close friend of mine started out as a mechanical engineer. After a couple of years, he figured out that engineering wasn't his cup of tea and decided to get into a business. He got an MBA from a reputed college, one of the IIMs in India, in less than 2 years. After his MBA, he realized that business was not a good fit for him either. After giving it some thought, he figured that he loves math, so maybe he should try something in that domain. After reading about it, he decided that he didn't have much interest in becoming a mathematician but wanted to try becoming a data scientist instead. It involves maths and has real world application, so he quit his job and started grinding it out. He started learning machine learning from scratch. He finally got a job at a startup after 8 months of struggle. Unfortunately, this startup went bankrupt within a year. He was out of a job again, but it did give him a lot of real world experience. This was leverage. He got another job at a startup after a month, and thankfully This company has been doing well for the past couple of years. Most people would call the mindedness, changing jobs and entire domains and every couple of a year. Others would say it was a waste of time and efforts in getting those degrees only to throw them away in pursuit of something entirely different. To be honest, in a world that is constantly changing, you cannot afford to have a fixed plans. You have got one life, and it only makes sense to try things out before settling down with something. We don't have any clear picture of a job until we do it ourselves anyway. So why commit in advance and let your degree judge you? In my opinion, it's better to flirt with the lots of jobs before settling down. To continue being an engineer in spite of disliking it just because you have put years into a job or a degree is a clear case of sunk cost fallacy. Being bound to a plan you had made early on is just premature optimization. Don't let these bias distract you from pursuing something meaningful. So, what if you are 40 and still unsure about what you want to do with your life? Most people are like you, they just know how to pretend and fit it. I don't blame them, but if you feel like you need to change something, maybe your job, your hobby, your field of interest, trying running on your little experiments. Start small, try a couple of things and see what works. Who knows, maybe you will discover something beautiful. Match quality is a term economists use to describe the degree of fit between the work someone does and who they are, their ability and proclivities. Find your own match quality. Any job that can be coded into a machine won't exist in the future. A lot of jobs are already gone. More jobs will be gone in the near future. Therefore, trying out new things is not fickle mindedness. It's smart. In an environment of accelerating change, having fixed plans is soon gonna be a thing of the past. Being flexible and adaptive helps, and all of us are going to have to become polymaths to thrive. Being hyphenated will always give us leverage. In a wigged world, being a generalist is the norm because specialists and kind domain experts don't survive here. In short, it's a good strategy for us to be a renaissance man, who one who has many talents and areas of knowledge if we want to thrive in this wigged domain called life. Life is hard, and however says it's not is trying to sell you something. Life is gonna throw a lot of yorkers or curveballs. No matter how strong or how smart we are, it may not be what we expect. So we will have to learn to adapt and evolve fast. Having range, having varied knowledge helps. The more thing we open ourselves to, the more we experience, the better philosophers will be, the better leader, teammates, and the individuals we will be. Life is full of opportunities, and we are full of possibilities. Let's run other run after all of our passions and interests. One never knows which one is a good fit until we try them. It's okay to try a bunch of good things in search of a great things.